Hello, nerds! Thank you for joining me here on Nerd News Clips. This is the second channel. This is the place for all of the short-form content as well as the individual sections and just generally speaking smaller things. If you are into the longer form content, youtube.com/generallynerdy is the place to go see that. With that out of the way, let's get into this. And kicking off the news proper, aside from our little bit in the intro there, is the music section. We don't have any follow-ups or corrections to make, so let's get right into new music. The one piece of new music that we have, also kind of note going forward for the whole episode, the research side of things was a little bit truncated as well because things are going on, man. I have to move a lot of stuff and I didn't have the time to do the research like I normally do. So my apologies, but we do still have a full show. Anyway, so our one piece of new music actually comes from a classic rock band. Journey is releasing a new record called Freedom. The record is due out July 8th, and they just released the first single off of this new record. It's called You Got the Best of Me. It's not classic Journey the way you think of classic Journey, but it is still pretty good. It is definitely got the Journey. It feels like a Journey song, even if it's not one of their best. So Steve Perry's long gone from this band, and the guy that they've got in his place does all right. He's no Steve Perry, but still does all right, man. So I would definitely recommend that if you appreciate Journey, if you like decent classic rock bands, then yeah, absolutely, this is worth a listen. That is what we have in new music. We do have a couple of interesting tours that were announced over this past week. First up is the band Avatar. No, they do not wear blue makeup and they're not 8 feet tall. They are, though, from Sweden, and they make a really interesting mix of metalcore and death metal, this really awesome collaboration between those two sounds, and their vocalist kind of looks like the crow at the circus. But they're fantastic, and they've just announced a North American tour. Actually, there is a European leg after this. If you're interested as well, you can follow the same link down in the description, and you can go get your tickets there if you are not in the States. But the leg of the tour that does happen in the States is going to be starting July 6th, and it runs through July 31st. The 6th, it's actually North America, not just the States. So the 6th starts in Canada, Toronto, Canada to be specific, and then the 31st is in Tucson, Arizona. The other reason why this is pretty noteworthy tour, aside from the fact that Avatar is just a really fun band and you should absolutely check them out if you like aggressive music, but they're going on tour with Light the Torch, which is Howard Jones from Killswitch Engage at one point, his current band, as well as OTEP, which is very strange to me. I really wish that there was a date close enough to me to make sense to catch this show, because wow, I haven't seen OTEP since they put out House of Secrets, and that was like almost 20 years ago. So very intrigued by this lineup. The last 2 records OTEP put out, not a huge fan, but Light the Torch is pretty fantastic. And Avatar, as I've said a number of times in the last 3 minutes, is also a hell of a lot of fun. So this is absolutely something, if it's coming close to you, you should check it out if you have the ability and the desire. Our other tour, also ticket links in the description as always. Also, our other tour that was announced this week, starting September 8th in Niagara Falls, New York, is Stained. The whole band, not just Aaron Lewis, so it is going to be the aggressive sound that we have come to know and maybe love, depending on your stance on nu metal. Yeah, but there's no announcement of who's going to be supporting them on this trek. They are running all the way through September 24th in Shawnee, Oklahoma. Tickets for this one are not yet on sale. Actually, let's go back to Avatar. Tickets for Avatar are not yet on sale either. The Avatar tickets go on sale April 29th, so this Friday, I believe. And then also this Friday, April 29th, is when the Stained tickets go on sale. But both of the links in the notes down below are going to get you to the place where you need to be for the tickets. That is what we have for tours. Now let's get into regular old news in the music section. Our first piece comes from the Metallica camp, which I find super, super interesting. So Ernie Ball and James Hetfield have teamed up to do strings. We're getting a set of James Hetfield strings from Ernie Ball, which I just find really, really interesting, not the least of which because of the gauges of the strings. So I'm going to get really music nerdy on you for just a second, because this is a very interesting, one might even say eclectic mix of string gauges for a 6-string guitar. So starting high E all the way down to low E, we have 11 gauge, 14, 18, 28, 38, and 50. So it starts off pretty light with that 11 and gets pretty thick pretty quick. This is, I kind of want to check it out. There's also a bunch of other stats that go along with this. Master core, so it's a heavier gauge inside of the wrap for the lower strings, which is really awesome because that means it's going to be less likely to break and more likely to maintain tone, which is of the utmost importance to any guitar player out there. And yeah, just pretty awesome. It's going to be tin over steel. Just everything about this sounds like it's going to be some pretty high quality strings. I did not see a price for when these things do drop, but the case that they come in is pretty freaking cool. Definitely, if you're a guitar player and you like to play loud, fast, and aggressive, then this is going to be a good set of strings for you. Assuming you also like to do a little bit of finger work on the upper frets to do your solos and such, because the 11, 14, and 18 are going to be pretty easy on the fingers and the ears up at the higher frequencies. So that's our first piece of news. Our second piece of news for music is the announcement, and this one probably should have gone in the tour section, but it was pretty epic. Tattoo the Earth is coming back. For those that don't remember, Tattoo the Earth was made famous by Slipknot, Mudvayne, and a whole bunch of bands in the early aughts. If you're familiar with the lore of the original tour that happened back in the early aughts, then you know that there were some pretty high-profile tattoo artists that went on tour as well, and these high-profile tattoo artists did Corey Taylor's Sun and Moon chest piece, but also Paul Booth, and I don't remember who the other guy was, but they freestyled Ryan Martini, the bass player for Mudvayne. They freestyled his chest piece on this tour back in the day as well. So pretty noteworthy. Like, there's a lot of high profile things involved with this, not the least of which, this is not a tour though, this is just going to be a festival, and not all of the bands are quite announced for this, but who has been announced is as follows. We have Anthrax, Black Label Society, Hatebreed, so that tour that we talked about in the previous episode, as well as At the Gates, Municipal Waste, and Enforced. This again is going to be a festival, not a tour, so it's going to be taking place at the Palladium outdoors in Worcester, Massachusetts, and it is going to be Saturday, August 27th. Tickets will go on sale, I believe, today, so go get them. Link down in the description, should be active by now. That being said, that is all of our regular news for the music section, so let's get into music suggestions for this episode. Our suggestion is a classic album that I believe gets overlooked in the oeuvre that is Pantera's body of work, and that is their first, since they changed their sound to the Cowboys from Hell, it's Cowboys from Hell. That first record after they became Pantera were no longer Panther or Steel Panther, whatever they were when it was Diamond Daryl and not Dimebag Daryl. Yeah, this is honestly, I think, my second favorite. I was going to say my first, but no. Probably my second favorite Pantera record. Cowboys from Hell often gets overlooked because there is so much amazing music in the Pantera catalog. I feel like you definitely should be giving Cowboys from Hell a second listen over the course of the next week or two. Once again, this has been just a brief segment from the larger episode that has been posted over on the main channel, youtube.com/generallynerdy. Go over there for the long form content, or just subscribe here if you want it in bite-sized chunks. Thank you very much for joining me, nerds. We'll see you in the next one. Before we go though, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.